So I figured we'd start right where we left off on the last video, welding in the boxed in section where we joined our two halves back together. And I guess after that we'll move on to maybe shortening the drive shaft. So I've got all my welding done on the frame. Let's move on to the drive shaft. We're gonna have to shorten this thing too, you know, so I went ahead and marked everything. We put it all back together the same way it came apart. There it is. Had to kick the heat on, got a little chilly out here. So I dusted a little bit of white spray paint on here just so you guys can see a little bit better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right in the middle of our U-joint right there. See there? On each end, we're right down the middle of it with the edge of our tape. So we're matched up pretty good. What I want to do is make a mark right here on the edge of this tape. See this? That way we put all this back, it's going to line up just right. We're going to cut the end of this off, and then when we put it back on after we remove what we need to remove, we want this to line back up just right. So now we've got ourselves a nice little tape, nice straight tape edge. I'm just going to go right through here. We're going to remove about 16 inches out of this drive shaft. We removed 15 inches out of the frame. We're going to go a little bit over that on the drive shaft to give ourselves an inch of play for it to slide in and out of the yoke, because when we lowered the truck, it kind of bottomed out on there. So this will give us that little bit back. So 16 inches is what's coming out here. I think I just about got that. Let's see. I'll just measure it right off of this. Here's 16 inches. All right, so that will be how much gets removed. Yeah, see, now when we pull our tape off, we got a nice straight edge that leads right straight back to the center of this U-joint, just like we did back here where it started. So here's the weld right here. We're just going to go right directly in the center of that weld and work that down till we could tap on the end of here, and we should be able to break it loose. Okay, so I've been grinding on it for a few minutes. We got a nice little groove going on there, and you can see where it's actually separating from the drive shaft itself. I'm gonna beat on this just a little bit with my sledgehammer and see if we can break that loose. We've got this thing all freed up. You can see it's spinning here now. I can't get it to come out, man. I've tried everything, and I don't want to mess this thing up. So I think what I'm gonna do is, now that we've got it loose, what we'll do is we'll come up about right in this area, go ahead and chop it off, and then we can split it down the middle and spread it open, and we should be able to get that on out of there. Okay, this is what we're after. Man, why was that so hung up in the hole? That was crazy. Never seen one do that. Take this white tape. We'll use it to mark where we're going to cut this thing. That ought to get it right there. From here on, that's going away. Get rid of our tape. Makes for a nice little straight edge, huh? Now we'll take our grinder and we'll just come through and just kind of bevel the edge. We're just going to kind of knock that edge right off. All right, cleaning up the end of that too. While we're at it, now we're gonna switch over from this little angle grinder here. Got kind of a reamer bit on the end of this. I wanna go through the inside of this and get all these burrs off. You see that? We want all that to be cleaned up really good so that our piece will fit right in there. Oh yeah, that feels way better already. Okay, let's find my line on here. Here it is right here. Got that line right there. See if we can slip this back in here. Might have to do some tapping with the hammer. Wow, really? I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Just wanna make sure it's on there nice and straight. Being a plug, sliding down in that really tight, I mean, that is super tight fit. You shouldn't have too much trouble getting it straight. So just make sure that you got a nice even gap all the way around it. That's looking pretty dang good. It'd be a lot easier without a U-joint. You know, you could get in there, kind of tap around on the middle of it. I left mine in. Seems to be working out okay, but it would be easier without it. We're going to put a few tack welds on this, then we're going to put it in the truck, test fit it, and make sure everything's just right before we actually finish weld it. Put one around over on this other side. That ought to be good enough for a test fit. Just taking a little bit of sandpaper, cleaning up some of this stuff before we put it back together. It just kind of helps it go back together a little bit. There was just a little bit of rust in between all the surfaces. Nothing major or anything, but it will go back together without it. A lot easier without it, I think. So I'll go ahead and clean it all up. Spray a little WD-40 in there. See if we can test fit this thing. There, oh, that's nice. Look at that. There we go. That fits pretty nice. You see what I mean here? I don't know if y'all can see this. This lighting is terrible. See that? This screws back onto the end of it. But that gives us a little bit of play there because, and that's what it had before. When we lowered it, this drive shaft just pushed its way right up inside of there and was bottomed out. So that's why we went ahead and gave it 1 extra inch. And even though we only shortened the truck 15 inches, we went ahead and shortened the drive shaft 16 inches. And it seems to be working out great. Okay, now that we know it fits, let's weld it up. Okay, so the drive shaft's in. Check it out, man. We got it all welded up real nice, reinstalled. Got plenty of play up front in the old carrier bearing for it to kind of slide in and out of. I moved my attention over here now to this C-notch area. We're gonna have to do a C-notch in here because we are actually sitting right on the frame. I got the jack underneath it for right now. That kind of got us up just a little bit, but this actually sits right on top of the axle there. So that's got to go. We're gonna get this whole bump stop out of the way. So the way I do it is I actually grind kind of across into it. And I do that with just my little angle grinder here. And then I'm gonna take my air hammer with a chisel on the end of it. We're gonna knock the heads of those rivets right off of there. There's 4 of them holding this on. And then after that, we'll switch out to this and we'll just drive them right out of the hole. Nice, now we're gonna switch over to this other bit. Man, that chisel does not play around. Just this guy right here, man, knock those right off. The secret is to cut that X into the top of it and it just comes off like butter. I suppose, and I've done it before, you could actually chisel those rivets right off without even cutting an X into it. But man, y'all saw just how easy that was with that, having that little bit ground in the middle of it. There it is, that's what we're after. Let's get that out of the way over on the other side too. There it is. We got a little bit of suspension. Now when we put that C-notch in, we'll get all of our suspension travel back, so no worries. Sitting here hitting it up with a little bit of my rust reformer. We get this down at the old Walmart for about, I think it's around $8 or $9 a can. Seems to be working pretty good. We've been using it over the whole project. If you guys missed the videos, man, when we first got this thing, it was just all rust. This whole thing was just solid rust. And look how much better it looks. And it seems to hold up. It seems to put a really nice little coating on there, because when I've gone back and had to grind areas down to do some of this work, it seems to be really thick and really on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that it works. I've always been kind of skeptical of stuff like this, but a lot of people tell me that it's good. And from my own experience, it does seem to be working out. So there you go. Make these wheels look a little bit better. Only got 2 left to paint, the inner and the outer duals on the rear. And we'll have all 6 wheels painted and looking nice. We'll have to paint these inside and out, since you kind of see them, you know. Even with the bed on them, you'll still see if that inner wheel is all rusty. So we want to paint both sides of these. Got it flipped around here doing the other side now. Man, I love how this looks. This is a really nice shade of white. What'd they call this? I forgot. I think it was Arctic White. Yep, Arctic White from Rust-Oleum. Really good, y'all. Really good. Try it out. They just got it at Walmart. They're not paying me to say that or anything. But if I find something good, man, I sure like telling y'all about it. And this is good stuff. We painted the whole truck with this. In case you missed those videos, man, there's a really nice playlist. You can go check it out at the end of the video. Click on that, and you'll see that this truck used to be a really ugly Barney color, and we painted the whole thing orange with this stuff right here, and it turned out awesome. Damn grinder got me again, y'all. Look at this. Picking these things out, these little wires. Yeah, I got my whole shirt this time. Well, okay, I got both wheels painted. That's the inside dual there, and then over here is the outside. Let's go ahead and see about pulling this paper off. Well, damn, sorry about that. Battery went dead. What do you miss? It still said it had 37%, and then all of a sudden it just goes out. I hate these GoPros. Have I ever told y'all that? I hate them. I hate them so much. This one here, this thing's practically new. It's only got maybe a year's worth of use on it, and all it does is give me fits. But anyway, there's that one. That looks, I think that looks pretty dang good, actually. I don't know why, but that is just fun. Y'all, have y'all ever done that? I'm sure you have. That is a good time, if you ask me. That's like opening up a Christmas present, huh? Look at that. Come on now. All the way around. Is he gonna give it to me? Ah, almost. Almost. Alrighty, there we go. All the wheels are painted. Let's get them on there. Let's get this on here. Here it is, y'all. Look at it. All we got left to do now is put that bed back on. I got the duals on it. I got them all painted to match. Look at it, all short and fat. Y'all see what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about right here. Look at that. She's all short and fat. Oh, I love it, dude. Look how wide the back of this truck is now. That is so cool. Oh, yeah. We still got to cut this back here. We got to get that off of there. That's actually going to stick out past the bed just a bit. These blocks, I'm sure, are going to have to come off and go away. And then we're going to have to get in here and cut some wheel wells inside, you know, because this inner wheel right here actually sticks inside the bed a little bit, so we'll have to make us a wheel hump, you know, just like a normal bed would have. So before we can put the bed on, we got to do a little bit of cutting. So I think what we need to do now is we need to move the truck out a little bit, go ahead and get the bed back over here, get it on the hoist, and then we'll set it down on here and we'll start trimming that out until it fits right. I mean, I've got some stuff here somewhere, I'll have to find it, but we've got some like trailer fenders that I think would make some pretty dang good wheel wells. So yeah, these right here I think will be a good start to some fender wells to go inside of this bed. But before we can even think about putting those in, we got to get inside of here and trim out for this wheel clearance. This is going to come up in there quite a bit. Alright y'all, I thought it'd be cool to finally get this big giant overgrown hitch off of here. It hangs down way too low now, and I would like to set this up to where it has kind of a hideaway trailer hitch where you hide it behind a flip down license plate. So this will need to come off and get moved. I think we'll take this and probably put it up in here between the frame rails, you know, and then we'll have a gas tank inside of here, and this will offer protection for that fuel tank. So that's the big plan, but for now it's got to go because this, we're going to have to actually kind of lop the frame off right around in here, right around even with this cross member, because it's going to stick out past the bed once we put it on. So let's just go ahead and get rid of it. Okay, last bolt. This hitch is actually kind of overkill now. A lot bigger than what we need. I mentioned before that its hauling days are pretty much over, except maybe some light duty stuff, pulling a boat, things like that. So big hitch, not really necessary, but we'll make it work. We'll use it anyways. You guys ain't gonna believe this. I got all the bolts out. This thing is welded and bolted. Look Look at this. It's got a big old weld running right down the side here. Ah. And them boys weren't playing around. They wanted this thing on here. Got it. There we go. Let's get this out of here now. Man, you guys remember when the whole frame used to look like that right here? Yeah, this whole thing looked just like that right there. It was terrible. We're working on trying to get these blocks off of here. We're doing some grinding on it, see if we can get it off. Nice. These things are no fun to grind off. Look at these long welds. It's like, how strong did you need this thing to be? So I'm guessing it needs a little more grinding. All right, let's try this again. I'm gonna set you guys a little further away this time. Yeah, agree. There we go, that's what we're looking for. Woo, you guys are still in danger. Yeah, there's that old rust again. The way we did the rest of the frame is you just kind of work off the flaky stuff with a wire wheel and then clean it up and you can spray it down. And this is what you end up with afterwards, and it looks pretty good, I think. Okay, so now if memory serves me correctly, we're going to be able to just cut that right off the end of there because I do believe most of that's going to stick out past the bed, so we don't need it. Okay, we're done with the fuel system again. Let's get that out of here. Something like that. And then we'll have to get in here and trim this out so it'll sit down over that wheel. Raise this up a little bit, we'll get this piece out of here. There we go. Don't need that anymore. Okay, we're just going to take the piece from the other side, fit it in here, use it as our pattern. There we go, that ought to work. Trace this out and we'll cut this side out. And then finally, this bed should fit down over those big old dually wheels. And we get to finally see this thing once and for all what it's going to look like. Because I love it, man. It's so far just the way it looks, all short and fat. I just can't get enough of it. Ouch! Damn it! Look at that. That hit me right in the neck. Shit is about to go down. All right, so I've done a little bit more trimming, and I think this thing ought to sit on there just right. I even trimmed my knuckle off. How y'all like that? You guys wear your, or put your guards and wear your protective equipment and gloves and all that good stuff. So it is official, y'all. We've got a truck bed now that actually sits down on the frame just like it's supposed to. We get these straps off of here. We're gonna take it out in the yard and get a proper look at this thing, man. I've been staring at this thing in the shop for so damn long. I wanna see it outside. Oh man, I love seeing it outside finally. This is like the first time we've had it outside for a while now. Man, look how fat that bed looks, y'all. That is so cool. I love how that looks. What do y'all think about the stance? We're just about to tuck some wheel up in there, but I guess that's about as low as it's gonna go right there. And I think that's low enough. And then of course, we still gotta do that C-notch. I know I promised y'all the C-notch. We're gonna do that on the next video. See where we got the wheel arches, everything all cut out. She's fitting on here pretty nice, y'all. She sure is. Man, I'm loving the way this thing looks. It's exactly what I had pictured all along. I know some of you guys weren't quite on board with this. You weren't sure what we were gonna end up with, and talking about lowering things down and widening beds and all that craziness. You just never know. But man, I pictured it. This is exactly what I pictured, and I'm loving it, man. You see the way that all sticks out past the side just like a dually. That's awesome. We still got to get our little spare tire. Everybody's asking me, are we getting rid of that? And yes, we are. We're definitely going to get rid of that. I don't want a spare tire in my fender. I have this weird thing where both sides have to match. I can't, there's no way, like if we were going to do a spare tire, I would need one on each side. You know what I mean? So here's the bed gap. You can see how it's nice and straight all the way down. We don't have anything weird going on. It's not too wide at the bottom, narrow at the top, or vice versa. And sometimes those kind of things can happen when you get into cutting frames and messing with the beds and all of that. So this is why we took our time and made sure everything was just right, so that this would all go back together and actually look right. You know what I mean? So you guys be sure and join me on the next video. We're going to finish up our wheel tubs. We're going to do the C-notch. That way we'll get all of our suspension back, and everything as far as lowering the truck will be 100% done. We're going to have to do something about our shock mounts too. We're either going to have to extend them a little bit longer, or we're going to have to get some shorter shocks, one or the other. I'll probably just weld up some brackets and extend them. That way we ain't got to buy anything special. You know how I do. We just make stuff. We don't go spend a lot of money on anything. But yeah, that's what we'll do next. Oh yeah, we got to do something with the exhaust. You remember we chopped those exhausts off? Well, guess what? I got big plans for those exhausts. You see this little spot right here where it used to have that step? Well, you know, we could do something cool right there with exhaust tips. Yeah, if we were to throw that step back on, I think it would stick out past the cabinet. It would just look goofy, and we'd have to do a bunch of trimming and all that. Well, what if we just fill this area up with a really kick-ass exhaust tip system? Something, I know you guys have seen it before, where they'll put like 4 exhausts sticking out of there and all that. Well, something along those lines, something custom, something cool, and you won't miss the step. Let's put it that way when we're done. So hey y'all, if you're still hanging around, I assume that you like this kind of content, and I want to invite you to hit the old subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost a dime. If you'll hit the bell, it'll actually tell you when I put out a video. And for the rest of you guys that have been subscribed, go back and check and make sure you're still subscribed. Just because you think you are, don't mean you are, man. YouTube, for whatever reason, will unsubscribe you to channels without you even knowing it, man. So we're pushing 80,000 subscribers right now. It would be so awesome to hit that mark by the end of the year, and I think we can do it with y'all's help. So if you're new here, welcome. Glad you're here. Go check out the comment section, and you will see that we have a great community here. Everybody's awesome. They're supportive. Lots of helpful tips and lots of knowledge in that comment section, I'll tell you what. So it's helped me out a bunch, I'll promise you that. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here for now, and no worries, we got plenty left to do to this one. We've got other projects as well, so I will see y'all next time.